What a privilege again to come to your screen. Remember that this is a place where we bring impossibilities to possibilities. Today in the studio, I'm having the person of Yemi Adenuga and Bishop Benson. It's going to be a wonderful cracker. God bless you. I know you've been long on this. I follow your track, a lot of things that you've been doing. It's a privilege to have you on this set. And I want you at least to tell the people what you think about relationship in generally and why are people being scared to go into a relationship?
Well, I will start with the first question. What do I think of relationships? I think the idea of having a relationship is a beautiful thing.
Great.
It's just being able to have somebody else who thinks like you, who can support your thoughts and whatever it is you need to do. They don't necessarily have to think exactly like you do, but they can harness that thought from yourself and their own ideas as well and make it work.
Correct.
So they're there to support what you're doing.
Correct.
That's what makes the relationship beautiful. Finding that right person that can click and make it work with you. And you also appreciating that you found that person and that person has found you. Now, the concept of finding each other is not just in going out or courting. And it's not even just in marriage. It's a process where you get to understand each other and know the do's and don'ts that can make that connection work and make it reasonable. So then, moving on from what do I think about relationships to what can make a relationship work, it's a mindset.
Wow.
It starts from the mind. I want to be a lawyer. So then you want to go to the university. You want to study law. And then you want to go to law school. You know that if you're going to be a lawyer, you want to be a successful lawyer. It's a barrister. If you want to, I believe if you want to go to that, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just trying to figure out which is which. But if you're going to have to go to the courtroom, then you have to go to law school.
Yes.
So you know you have to do that in order to be who you want to be. It's a mindset. It's the same with a relationship, with a marriage. For you to succeed, you must have that mindset that I'm going into this, I'm going to learn in this, and I'm open to learning.
Wow.
And with that mindset, from that very beginning, you know that the person you're going to go into that relationship with, you were not born together. You both come from different backgrounds.
That's it.
So you will have to take your time to understand each other.
Wow.
You will have to take your time to know that what you learn is something you can use or not use. And what you cannot use, you don't take offense if you cannot use it. You actually appreciate knowing that you cannot use it. And then you use what you can use. And you go with the mindset that I'm going to look for the good in this person.
Wow.
The negative is there, but that will not be the highlight of making this work.
Great. You see, this really brings me to the thing that has troubled my mind, why I brought this conference together that we're having here in Galway, the Single and Married Conference. And I say this because I know many people who are watching us right now, there are a few of them who will be saying, I can never get married again, based on what? Stigma. Even in the church, people are being stigmatized. One thing that is sure, that people are going to segregate against you, mostly when you are divorce or something went wrong in your marriage, and which is out of your own, it's not in your own control. And because of these, people begin to call you whatever names and all that and so on. And moving on in life becomes so difficult. You see, this is where I find many people handing out today. That some of them have taken to drugs, some of them are taking to drinking, some of them taking, and many of them have been depressed. In this place, my intention is to be able to relieve the minds of these persons who are watching us today with keen interest. If they have gone through all these pains as a relationship coach, Doctor, I want to start with you. What can we do as, a coach to be able to help these people? Like, I just bring your mind to the issue of Jephthah in the book of Judges 11, whose mother was a harlot, and you know that story very well. And she was thrown away because the mother was a harlot, and you know the story. Unto the end, he stood his ground. He was a warrior. When the time comes when the children of Israel needed to fight, they have to go bring him out. And he has to ask them and tell them, listen, until you make me a king, I'm not coming. And he was given to him. So many people are out there, they are suffering. So as a relationship coach, how do you help these people? What do you think they could do to be able to navigate this and live a fulfilled life, not going depressed?
Well, the issue right now with so many people is the fact that people are just misjudging people and they are passing on judgment. God has not given us the power to just be judgmental. The church should position herself as a place where people could come to receive help, not to drive people to the hand of the devil. People make mistakes, and there's some circumstances, no matter how you try to avoid it, they come to pass in your life. That's, you see, the interesting thing about issues of life, let me just let you know this. One day I was studying the Bible and the Lord opened my eyes to see some stuff in the Bible. I said, God, wow, this is very interesting. God said to me, he said, son, it said life is a kind of, like, it's like a university. Some courses are compulsory, some are
Electives.
He said the compulsory one, no matter how you pray, you fast, you bind, you lose, you still have to do it. Said the one that are elective, when you fast and pray and you bind, whatever, you can avoid it. And it now took me to a story in the Bible where Jesus Christ said to his disciples, he said, there's need for us to pass through this way. There are other ways that Christ could have taken, which we could call it maybe a shortcut. But Christ preferred to go through a longer route to pass through Samaria. But people didn't know why he has to go through Samaria until when the disciples came back and saw multitude. And they now said to themselves, oh, can I know the reason he said should go through Samaria? He went through Samaria because of just one woman who had relationship issue. Just because of one woman, the woman that she found at the well in Samaria. And he was able to help her. Now, let's go back to what the question you asked. Now, the people who are hurting, people who have issues, we should call them and find a way to help them and not to push them to the hand of the enemy. Because why? Because we have to deal with each issue from its own merit point of view. Choose situation that looks identical might need different approaches to it. Because the fact is that even from the Bible, you describe some people are into some relationship issues that is not and that is not, we can't actually say maybe they are the cause of those issues. There are circumstances beyond their own control. For instance, Mary was in one. Mary was the one because when she got pregnant from another man who was not her husband. And Joseph was there to judge her carefully, but thank God God intervened. Now, just Jacob married somebody he didn't love. But it wasn't his own fault because they brought the woman to him in the night. Which was Leah. So, which means, are we going to blame Jacob? No. Are we going to blame Mary? No. Mary was on her own before that man came and gave her, put pregnancy in her in her belly. Understand what I'm saying now? Now, what would Joseph do? Joseph, the only option Joseph saw was to just escape. But God said, stay. So, which means in our own lives too, we find ourselves under circumstances that we don't have control over. And there are people like that in the church and outside the church. Such people should call them, understand, and look for a way. What happened? How did it happen? How can we help you to move forward? So, when I talk about as a relationship coach, what I do is that I try to find a way out to help people out of their predicament, to show them how to actually find a solution, find kind of fulfillment in a kind of relationship. Because God is a God of relationship. He believes in relationship.
Thank you, Doctor. I really, really appreciate your insight. I don't want to hear from Tinubu as well. I need your insight in this thing because this is a big.
Yes.
The word is all about relationship.
Yes.
And we cannot go too much on this topic. So, from you.
Thank you, sir. A lot of people are disappointed in the church.
Very.
It's very unfortunate, but that's the truth.
But it is.
The church, and I say church in the general term, not any specific denomination. But the church has disappointed so many believers, that believers are falling back and they're backsliding. People come to church for the first time for different reasons. Some people come to church to belong. Some people come to church because they found Christ. Not everyone who comes to church for the first time has found Christ.
That's true.
Some people just want something to associate with. Just the same way people would join a club just to feel a sense of belonging. So, in coming to a church to have a sense of belonging, those of us who are already members of the church are so quick to castrate people. they don't belong in this group because they're not well dressed.
Mm.
They don't belong here because they are single parents. We're all married people and we're perfect and we're looking so good. They don't belong here.
Oh.
And they have come with a problem. Now, the question is, would Jesus have done the same?
No.
So, the church needs to recognize that it should stop acting like a business and begin to act like a social institution that is there to help people. The key word there is to help and to support people. There's a saying that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
That's it.
The church is to care, so people can now pour their hearts. People will not tell the church what their problems are because they get castrated more in the church. They would rather talk to friends who would worsen the situation. So first of all, the church needs to recognize that it was set up, it is there to render help to those who need help.
That's true.
Those who have the help already should be trained to render more help. And not to castrate or to be judgmental. Secondly, pastors, and I say this with all humility, pastors need to recognize that they're not marriage counselors. I'm sorry to say that. You're both pastors, sir.
Say it.
But I think that ministry is a special ministry. And it's been given to certain people. Now, as Luck would have it, there's certain pastors that are equally blessed with that ministry as well, to counsel and to help people in marriages. When you're reading a book about marriage and how to succeed in marriage, and you're reading a book from a person who's been divorced 7 times, what's that person going to tell you? They're going to write that book from the point of view of a person who's been divorced 7 times. So people need to be careful. So if somebody is going to counsel you, you want to see their lives.
That's true.
So beyond talking, the life of the person who's talking to you should also speak volumes. So to pastors, they also need to be able to be that shining example. And to recommend to people who come to them that, listen, there are professionals out there who can help you.
That's true.
We will pray. We'll do the bit that we are here to do. To pray with you, to support you in prayer. If there's a need to fast, we'll fast with you so that your request is granted. But you need help. Then people also need to recognize that they need help. Relationship counselors wouldn't go to people and say, here you go, you need help. It's like walking into a doctor's clinic and the doctor says to you, you're coughing, so you need antibiotics. You say to him, hello, it's my hand that is hurting. I didn't come here because I'm coughing. It's like an insult to you. There's something you need and you don't want him to tell you what you need.
That's true.
So it's the same way. Relationship counselors wouldn't just say to you, oh, your marriage is falling apart, you need help. People will insult you. So people need to recognize, especially Africans, we don't talk about our relationships, especially when we're outside our territory. Back home, the family setting is there. You talk to an uncle. That's not necessarily to say that you get the best advice, but you have a backbone. You have somebody you can cry to. Right. So for those of us in Europe especially, we need to recognize that we need to ask for help. Ask for help from people who can render help. And if you were going to ask for help, if aside from going to professionals, become a mentor, a marriage mentor. You look at the lives of people who are well established in marriage, whose lives speak volume to you. Just their conduct, everything they do speaks, this is the way a marriage should be. And let them be the guide, rather than you trying to go the long haul yourself and you fall short. Those are some of the basic steps.
Great. There is one question that come out of that question, even as you speak, because I know even pastors fall into these categories. That sometimes you could get divorced, and it is not your fault, just like Bishop said, and this happened every time. And it is not really the pastor's fault. It's not really the woman's fault, and so on. So this blame game continue, or this one did that, this one do this, and that continue in the church. In this area where you find yourself on the spot, and it is not your fault, and people are being judgmental against you as a Christian, what do you do?
I think what you were saying was, I think it makes a lot of sense. And if
Because that's where I'm really trying to get the
Concerned
mind of
about,
people. Yes.
you see, when you talk about the issue of people being judgmental about what people go through and so on and so forth, on most occasions, those who pass the judgment themselves have issues, and that's the truth. And Jesus Christ said, if you want to remove a speck from somebody's eyes,
First
take the
of all,
log out of your eyes first.
so you can see.
So you can see. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I read with dismay
Yeah.
about, in quote, a popular church pastor in the States that refused to dedicate a child in the church. And what was his reason? The reason was because the child was born out of wedlock. And I said, wow, that is stupid. That doesn't make sense to me. And I said to myself, Jesus himself, the savior of the world, the pregnancy came out of wedlock. Yes, quote me. That's the truth.
It's out of wedlock. Yes.
Out of wedlock. So did God kill Mary?
No. And it's still
Now,
our Savior.
the rejected ones, when you are rejected, it's a sign that there's a gold in you.
Hallelujah.
David was rejected. God went to look for him, became the king.
Wow.
Jephthah was rejected.
Yeah.
They went to look for him, became
Became
the
a king. Wow.
The stone that they built, reject becomes the chief cornerstone. Each time you see yourself being rejected, being maltreated in this your relationship, which means there's gold in you.
Thank you.
Understand? You have to make sure when there's something devil hates in you.
Hallelujah.
There's something in you. You have to understand where that is coming from. Now, when we can look at like people who are going through the issue of divorce issues, they are not the cause of those issues. We have to look at it from the point of from its own merits. Understand what I'm saying now? But we shouldn't become the kind of judgmental about issues. Understand what I'm saying now? I have to look at it. What happened? How did it happen? In fact, who even made us a judge?
Case by case.
That's the truth. We should be there to help people.
That's
you know,
true.
like
That's what the church is for.
like what I do, for instance, what I do in my relationship, coaching is that I've been able like to separate the relationship coaching from the church because it's a separate entity.
Okay.
So when I talk, I don't talk as a pastor.
Okay.
So because I'm able to reach out to those inside and outside the church. And with that, because one, you need to have a call to do that. You need to have a skill to do that, understand? But the truth is that when the pastors or whatever, so who have gone through this issue of divorce we are talking about, all we need to do is to engage, understand, in helping them. They need help at that particular time. They are hurting, not being
judgmental, stigmatized,
and
or
segregated,
and so on and so forth. God bless you, Doctor.
Yeah.
I really, really appreciate you on this section. In 1 minute,
Okay.
if people want to meet Yemi Adenuga, how can we see you? Because you are in Galway for these 2 days. People are talking about what you have done. It's my privilege to have you in the studio. But after today, people want to see you. How will they see you?
Okay. Several ways. You can visit our website at dyrelationshipclinic.com and you can connect with myself and my husband there.
Great.
You can also visit our personal website. My own personal website is yemiadenuga@hotmail.com and my husband is dejadenuga@hotmail.com.
Great.
And our contact details are there. You can send emails. Everything you need to know is there. You can visit our project website, www.nigeriancarnivalisland.com. Now that's different. .net. So that's the connection.
Good. 1 minute, Doctor. If people want to see you, how can they meet you?
Well, because I get my contacts from my website, marcusbenson.eu.
Fantastic.
And there you can get my phone number. My phone number is 0035387091216. And with that, you can actually meet with me and send me an email, and I will respond.
Fantastic. What a privilege to have these 2 great men in this beautiful section today. And I know many of you who have listened to these 2 giants in relationship have been well blessed. Listen to me, you've got their contacts, and I want you really to get in touch with them. They are in Galway, and we are privileged to have them here. And I'm believing God that whenever I need them, they will come to this place where we'll be able to put all the highlight to where you'll be liberated so that your life can move from a place of impossibilities to possibilities. It was a pleasure having you today. I look forward to seeing you next time. God bless you.